Father Jack Shine, who was the vocation director way back then, came to our parish school and gave a talk about coming to vocation weeks and going down to the high school seminary in Cape Girardeau. I signed up. I've always been interested, from a young age in the priesthood. And so it was then that I was introduced to the Vincentian community. People ask me sometimes, well, when did you decide? And my response is pretty consistent. I said, it depends on when you ask the question. Because in other words, when you're an 8th grader and decided to go into the seminary high school, well, your reasons might be pretty much that of an 8th grade reason, looks like fun. But, if you'd ask again, at the end of when I was in college, I'd have probably a different answer, and even in theology, a different answer yet. But it was sort of like I just never lost the desire to be a priest. The memory that immediately comes to mind is actually a more recent one. One of my hobbies is basically running antique steam engines, locomotive engines. And there was a particular locomotive engine that was just restored at the Nevada State Railroad Museum. And so I went out and they asked me to bless the engine. So that's what I did. So, it's one of those, if you want to call it a hobby, I guess you could, because most of the people in there are not professionals, but rather volunteers. And you enter people's lives where they are, and then you're able to kind of unfold for themselves, really, their own interest in the spiritual life. It's a hobby of mine, but my profession is priest, and I never really kind of lead with the priesthood thing, but they want that sort of thing. The worst thing that people do is they make too much of the decision to pursue it. It's the pursuit of it is where the adventure is. And, if it works out, all the better. But, but even finding out maybe this isn't for you, I don't know of very many ex-Vincentians or people that started off on the path and then decided it wasn't for them, that wasn't positively affected by the experience. And to a great extent, still participate in it today. This weekend, I'm going to a class reunion from my high school days at St. Vincent's in Cape Girardeau. And, these guys still get together and still, talk about the things that they learned and the impact on their lives. So it's kind of a touching thing. You can't lose if you follow it.